So far we have seen Kripaluji Maharaj said there is one divine entity. Our Vedas are very clear. Ekameva dvitiyam brahma. Ekam sat vipra bahudha vadanti. Ekam santam bahudha kalpayanti. There is one entity. However, the Vedas also say that there are two entities. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vriksham parikhasvajate tayoranyah pippalam swadvatya nashnan nanyo abhichakashiti. The Vedas say there is a tree. On the tree are two birds. One bird is eating the fruit of the tree. The other bird is watching, not interfering. The first bird, sometimes when it tastes a bitter fruit, it becomes unhappy. When it tastes a sweet fruit, it becomes joyous. The other bird is a friend of the first bird, but does not interfere, only notes the karmas. This verse has come in the Mundaka Upanishad. It is there in the Shvetashvatar Upanishad as well. It states, the tree is this body. In this body, the first bird is the Atma, the soul. The second bird is the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul. The Atma is tasting fruit in the body. These are the fruits of past karmas. If a good fruit comes, the Atma becomes happy. If a bitter fruit comes, the Atma becomes miserable. The Paramatma, the second bird, is a friend of the first bird. But he doesn't interfere. He just keeps watching and noting. Again, the same Upanishad, the next mantra says, what is the solution to this problem? Samane vrikshe purukho nimagno nishaya shochati muhyamanaha jushtam yada pasyatyanyamashya mahimanamiti bita shokaha. The Shvetashvatar Upanishad again says, if the first bird just turns around towards its friend, all its problems will be solved. In other words, the soul has its back to God. And what it needs to do is to turn around towards Him. So the Ved mantra is very clear that there are two entities, the Atma and the Paramatma. But there are other Ved mantras that are stating that there are three entities. Ksharam pradhanam amrita ksharam hara ksharatmana vishate deva ekaha tasya bhidhyanad yojana tattva bhavad bhuyaschante vishvamaya nivrittihi. There is one kshar tattva. Kshar means perishable. So what is perishable? The material energy. Everything in the world perishes. And there is one akshar, imperishable. What is that? The soul. And there is one Ish, Lord of both kshar and akshar. By knowing these three entities, one can cross over the material energy. So here, in this mantra of the Shvetashvatar Upanishad, three entities are being talked about. Ajam ekam lohit shukla krishnam vahvi praja srijamanam sarupa ajo hyeko jushamano nushete jahattena bhukta bhogamajonyah. The mantra says there are three tattvas. One is Aj, the second is Aj, and the third is Aja. What does Aj mean? Janma. In other words, eternal. So God is eternal. The Jeev is also eternal. And Maya is Aja, also eternal. The material energy has existed ever since God has existed. So these three entities are eternal and will always remain. The Vedas are talking about three entities. Etajgeyam nityamevatma sanstham natah param veditavyam hi kinchit bhokta bhogyam preritarancha matva sarvam proktam trividham brahmametat. Again, the Upanishads are saying there is one bhogya Brahma, one bhokta Brahma, and one prerak Brahma. Bhogya Brahma, what you enjoy, the material energy. Let me squeeze some more pleasure out of it. That is the goal of the soul. How to do bhog of the material energy Maya. So this is Bhogya Brahma. It's also Brahma. And the Jeev is Bhokta Brahma. And their Lord, the Prerak Brahma, is Bhagavan. So Sarvam Proktam Trividham Brahmametat. By knowing all three, you can reach your goal. Again, the Vedas are saying there are three entities. So how come in some places the Vedas said there is one entity? Then they said, no, there are two entities. Then they said, no, there are three entities. Kripaluji Maharaj is explaining in this verse. He says these two entities, Jeev and Maya, they are the Shaktis of God. They are the energies of God. Just like the sun is the energetic and it possesses energies. What are the energies of the sun? The heat and the light. So, these energies are one with the sun. That is why people say, Swamiji, the sun has come through the window, you sit down there. Sit in the drawing room, the sun has come. The sun has come into your drawing room? If the sun comes in the drawing room, will we remain? The temperature on the surface of the sun is 1 million degrees centigrade. So we are going to evaporate very soon if we are going to be there. But the point is that the sunlight is considered non-different from the sun. And that is why when the sunlight has entered through the windows into the drawing room, in speech we say the sun has come. So, similarly, this Maya and Jeev are Shaktis of Bhagavan. Narada Ji Maharaj, he is the Guru of the celestial Devatas. That's why he is called Devarshi. Narad Ji in his Pancharatra says, Ekadesha sthitasyagner jyotsna vistarini yatha parasya brahmanah shaktis tathedam akhilan jagat. He says, just like the sun is in one place in the solar system, but by its light, it illuminates the entire 8 planets, although it's in one place. Similarly, there is one supreme divine entity. By his innumerable energies, he is pervading and inhabiting all of creation. The Kripaluji Maharaj is talking about Jeev as a Shakti and Maya as a Shakti. And then he's saying there's a third Shakti of God as well. What is that? Yogamaya. Yogamaya is the divine Shakti. Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavritah. Arjun, although I am seated within you, I am not perceptible by anyone. Even the doctor who puts the stethoscope to the chest cannot perceive me sitting inside, because I keep myself hidden with the help of my Yogamaya. The Yogamaya is his divine, all-powerful energy. Kripaluji Maharaj says, look, the Shaktis or energies of God are infinite. Everything about God is infinite. His forms are Anant. His names are Anant. His abodes are Anant. His devotees are Anant. Yova anantasya gunanananta nanukramishyan satubala buddhi. In the Bhagavatam, Vedvyas writes, in the second verse of the 4th chapter of the 11th canto, that one who thinks he can count the infinite divine attributes of God has got a childish intellect. Rajansi bhumer ganayet kathanchit kalena naiva khila shakti dhamnah. One may succeed in counting the specks of dust on the crust of the earth. That impossible may become possible, but the innumerable qualities of God nobody can count. That is why one name for Bhagavan in our Vedas is Anant. Anantaschatma Vishvarupo Hyakarta. So God's Shaktis are also infinite. But the problem is that the human brain is finite. And the human brain can only understand so much. That is why, to explain things to us, these acharyas have simplified that immense knowledge and presented it to us in such a way that we can grasp it. I am reminded of a story of Narada ji. He came to our earth planet and he went to a village in India. He found a Vedic scholar. Now the Vedic scholar was reciting mantras, and Narad ji came. The scholar was delighted. He said, Aiye, Devarshi, please come and be seated. He washed the feet of Devarshi, did his arti. Narad said, do you want anything? The scholar said, Maharaj, you go and meet Narayan in Vaikunt. Next time you go, please ask him, when will I get liberated from the material energy? Narad ji said, it's a small thing, I'll do it. After that, Narad went to a cobbler. The cobbler was stitching somebody's shoes. When he saw Narad, he also was overjoyed. Narad, of course, Narayan. That's what he does in the movies. What he actually does, I don't know. So Narad came along, and this mochi also welcomed him and washed his feet. He said, I am blessed. My whole hut has been sanctified today with your presence. Narad said, do you want a boon? Maharaj, your gati. You have the ability to go to Vaikuntha and meet Narayan. Next time you meet him, please ask him, when will I attain God realization? Narad, from there, he went to Vaikuntha. Narayan said, Naradji, how are you doing? Narad said, Maharaj, I am in great bliss in your devotion. So Naradji, where did you go today? Maharaj, I went to a little village in Bharatvarsh. So whom all did you meet? Maharaj, I met a Vedic scholar and a cobbler. They both were curious to know when they will attain you. Narad said, tell the scholar that it will take him as many lifetimes as there are leaves in the tree in his courtyard. And tell the cobbler that this is his last life. Narad said, Maharaj, this doesn't make any sense. The cobbler is stitching shoes and the scholar is reciting Ved mantras. Narayan said, when you meet them again, they are going to ask you, what was Narayan doing? Tell them that Narayan was stringing an elephant through the eye of a needle. He was taking the elephant through the eye of the needle. You will understand the answer I have given. When Narad, with that message, first went to meet the Vedic scholar. The scholar said, Maharaj, did you have darshan of Narayan? Naradji said, yes, I did. What was he doing when you met him? Naradji said, he was taking an elephant through the eye of a needle. The scholar started laughing. Maharaj, you think I am such a fool that I'll believe something like this? I have also got some sense up here. How can anybody, even a string to be passed, you have to put on your glasses and try 5 times before it goes. How can an elephant go through? What did he say about my liberation? Narad said, now he understood. He said, Narayan said, it's going to take you as many lifetimes as there are leaves on the tree in your courtyard. From there, he went to meet the cobbler. The cobbler again welcomed him. Maharaj, did you go to Vaikuntha? Narad said, yes, I did. What was Narayan doing when you met him? Narad said he was taking an elephant through the eye of a needle. The moment the cobbler heard, he started dancing, Jai Ho, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Narad said, you believed? Can God take an elephant through the eye of a needle? That illiterate cobbler, he said, Maharaj, my God is such that from a little seed, he manifests this huge banyan tree. When God can do so much, what is the difficulty for him to take an elephant through the eye of a needle? The fact is that God is kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum samarthaha. He can do the proper things, the contradictory things, and both of them simultaneously. So, to limit God to the level of our intellect, I can understand him to be so much, is not a very complete definition of God. Hence, Kripaluji Maharaj is writing here that the Shaktiman has got infinite Shaktis. But in order to grasp it, just divide them into these 3. One is Maya, one is Jeev, and one is Parashakti. The Vishnu Puran says the same thing. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetragya Kya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Sangyangya Tritiya Shakti Rishyate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said the same thing. Krishner Ananta Shakti Tate Tin Pradhan Chit Shakti, Maya Shakti, Jeev Shakti Nam. Antaranga Bahiranga Tatastha Karivare. Antaranga Swarup Shakti Savare Upare. So after explaining that there are these three main Shaktis, Yoga Maya, Jeev and Maya. Now let's see what he talks about in regard to the Jiva Tattva. Verse number 4. Jiva tatastha Shakti par Maya kar adhikar radhe radhe. Jiva tatastha Shakti par Maya kar adhikar radhe radhe. Vastutastu yah das hai Swami Kumar Radhe Radhe. Vastutastu yah das hai Swami Kumar Radhe Radhe. Now he is explaining the relationship of the Jeev, the soul, with the Paramatma. What is our relationship with the world? It's a temporary relationship. One day we will leave everybody and go away by ourselves. Today we heard in Maharajji's lecture in the morning that when we leave, we will have to make this last journey by ourselves. So all these temporary relationships will come to an end. And with God we have a permanent relationship. What is our relationship with Him? He is our eternal Father. Some people look on Him as the eternal Mother. And the Vedas also say, Amritasya vai putra. O soul, you are the child of God. Aham bijam prajapita, Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. I am the seed-giving Father. So He is our Father, we are His little children. Agreed?
Yes.
But there's a problem here. If we are the children of God, then we should be like God. From a human being is born. From an elephant is born. From a horse is born. You don't find horses taking birth from elephants, and humans taking birth from horses, and elephants taking birth from humans. Like father, like son. If we are God's children, we should be like Him. He is Sarva Shaktiman, Sarva Drishta, Sarva Antaryami, Sarva Loka Maheshwar. And we souls are Alpagya. We have this little knowledge, Ashakt. We are under Maya. We are being afflicted by Trigun, Tritap, Tridosh, Panchaklesh, Panchakosh. All the maladies of the material energy. Then how come we are His children? Actually, Sri Krishna has said in the Gita, Mamaivansho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Arjun, the soul is not a child of God in the manner as in the world from a father and mother a child is born. Then the soul is a fragment of God. Ansh. Because the soul is a fragment of God, it is considered child of God. Like you can say the earth is a child of the sun. It's a little fragment. Or you can say a little rock is a child of the mountain. So in the same way, the soul is a fragment of God. Ansho Nana Vyapadeshat, the Brahma Sutra says, Ansh, a fragment. Chinmatram Shri Hareransham, the Vedas say. The soul is a tiny bit, a little drop of the ocean. Ishvara Ansha Jiva Avinasi Chetana Amala Sahaja Sukharasi. The Ramayana also signs it. So now our relationship with God has become more clear. What is our relationship with Him? We are His tiny little fragments. So far so good. Does it make sense? But there's still a problem. If we are little fragments of God, then is God like some boulder who was hit with a hammer and he got fragmented? Then, Microsoft has this defragmentation feature. Possibly you could defragment the souls back into God. And if God got fragmented in this manner, then He became less than before. In what way is the soul a fragment of God? The Paramatma Sandarbh says, Na cha tankachinna, na pashana khandavat tachinnas tat khando jivaha. The soul is not a fragment in the way a boulder is fragmented. Then the soul is the Shakti of God. The soul is an energy of God. Because it is an energy, in manner of speaking, you can say it is a fragment of God. Like the material energy is an energy of the Supreme. Yoga Maya is also Shakti of that Shaktiman. And the soul is also a Shakti. Shaktitve naivan shatvam vyanjayati. The Paramatma Sandarbh says. So, what is the nature of this Shakti? Kripaluji Maharaj says, it is tatastha. Now we are going to get a little philosophic. So be prepared. Tatastha means it is a borderline energy. There is one Bahiranga Shakti, external energy. That is Maya. Because God is Chetan, sentient. Maya is Jad. So it's a Bahiranga, external energy of God. And then there is the internal energy of God, which is Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is Sarva Samarth, all powerful, just like God is all powerful. So the soul, is it a part of Maya Shakti? It cannot be. If the soul was a fragment of the Maya Shakti, the soul would have been Jad, insentient like Maya. Now supposing I say that Shanil, you are sitting just like the dholak. Shanil will say, Swamiji, what kind of simile have you given here? Don't compare me with the dholak. The dholak is insentient and I am sentient. So, the soul is sentient. It is not a part of Maya Shakti. Is the soul a part of Yoga Maya? If we had been a part of Yoga Maya, we would have been Sarva Samarth, like Durga, Sita, Kali, Lakshmi. We would also have been Sarva Samarth. So we are not a part of Yoga Maya either. Then we are in between. We are sentient. We have consciousness, but we are tiny. Just like there is the sun and a little spark. The sun will not get extinguished, but the spark can get extinguished. So because we are Anu, tiny, the material energy has overpowered us. So Kripaluji Maharaj says, Tatastha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had said the same thing. Krishne Tatastha Shakti, Bheda Bhed Prakash. Jeev is the borderline energy, and Bheda Bhed, simultaneously one and different. So, we are tiny, and hence, because we are Anu, the material energy Maya has overpowered us. Consider this analogy. It is night outside. Now put light lamps all over. Yesterday there was a lot of fireworks going on. When we were going back, we saw the fireworks, right? But did the night disappear? Despite the fireworks, it did not disappear. And suppose the stars are also there in the sky. It's a cloudless night. Now, will the night go away? It will still not go away. And suppose it's a full moon night. The moon is in the solar color, complete full. All these together don't have the ability to remove the darkness of the night. Rakapati shodasha uvahi tara gana samudaya sakala girinha davalaya ravi binu rat na jaya. Tulsidas Ji Maharaj says, Ravi binu rat na jaya. The moment the sun rises, the night has disappeared. You may not be able to see it. It's a cloudy morning. Even without being able to see it, the sun has still made the night vanish. So, like the sun is God, and like the little star is the soul. Hence, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hoy andhakar. Yaha Krishna taha Maya nahi adhikar. Krishna is like the sun, Maya is like darkness. Where there is Krishna, Maya cannot reach. And moment Krishna is gone, then the material energy Maya overpowers us. So originally, we are supposed to be as the Shakti of God. What is the work of the Shakti? What is the Shakti supposed to do? The Shakti is supposed to serve the Shaktiman. The Shakti has got only one purpose, to serve the Shaktiman. And hence our original nature is servant of God. Not only our nature, the nature of everything in creation. Dasabhutamidam tasya jagat sthavara jangamam Shriman Narayana Swami Jagatam Prabhurishvaraha. In the Padma Puran, Vedvyas writes, Dasabhutamidam tasya jagat sthavara jangamam. Every living entity and non-living item, they are all servants of God. Some of them know it and some of them don't know it. So originally we are supposed to be a servant of God because we are His Shakti. But the problem is that we are under the material energy Maya. And in this illusion, the attitude of serving has not gone. Only problem is now we are serving Maya. Somebody is Joru ka gulam. There is that story about Akbar, right? Akbar said that Birbal, he announced in his court that all of my ministers, whichever of them is not Joru ka gulam, not a servant of his wife, tomorrow they will stand on this side and all the others will stand on this side. So the next day everybody came and stood on this side. They are all servants of their wife. She is the high command, and one person came and stood on this side. So Akbar said, you are not a servant of your wife. He said, actually I am, but she asked me to stand on this side. See, the wife is serving the husband. You are serving your children. You are serving your boss. The boss says your job is in danger and you need to work harder. So from morning to night, you're serving your boss. You're serving Ericsson and Samsung and all these people, right? So we are all doing service of the material energy Maya. But originally, we are all servants of God. So much of knowledge Kripaluji Maharaj has put in this verse. He is now going to tell us why the soul has come under Maya. And having come under Maya, what is the condition of this soul? So that we will hear tomorrow. Let's do a little Naam Sankirtan.